The cumulative damage of microaggressions on minorities. Caryma Sa'd. A couple of weeks ago, I was in remand court. I signed the counsel list and sat on the bench where lawyers and paralegals wait to have their matters called. It was the morning break, and I was feeling whimsical. I mused about the thousands of lawyers who have occupied this space over the past century. A sharp voice pulled me from my reverie. "Excuse me. Are you counsel or the interpreter?" It took a moment to process what was being asked. My mind started spinning. I must look out of place. Is it the suit? Did I even hear the question correctly? Was this a deliberate or unintentional slight? Why ask me, but none of the people around me? What are the consequences if I call this person out? In the end, I settled for a polite yes, I am counsel, and tried to be grateful at least they contemplated the possible existence of my credentials. It could have been worse. And yet, I felt out of sorts. I felt like an imposter. It is not unheard of for people like me to be confused with, or presumed to be, non-lawyers. The misunderstanding is usually rooted in an implicit worldview of what a lawyer looks like. White, male, possibly a bit stodgy. I am none of those things. The timing of my awkward courtroom exchange was ironic. I spent the previous evening at the Advocates Society, participating in a workshop for lawyers who identify with communities encompassed in the Roundtable of Diversity Associations. The series is designed to promote skills training, mentoring, and dialogue about the unique issues facing lawyers representing diverse communities. The introductory session was a closed-door town hall, giving senior practitioners, judges, partners, associates, and recent calls an opportunity to unpack experiences of isolation and exclusion in the justice system. Several people recounted being mistook for assistants, clerks, accused virtually anything other than a lawyer. Microaggressions are inherently subtle. For those unfamiliar with the term, I am referring to commonplace slights, indignities, put-downs, insults, and backhanded remarks that minorities experience in day-to-day interactions with individuals who are oblivious or indifferent to causing offense. Microaggressions frequently relate to stereotypes about a person's race, gender, sexual orientation, and/or disability status. Individuals who belong to multiple, distinctly burdened groups face different challenges. The influence of overlapping identities means that experiences are not universal. The bottom line is that microaggressions undermine any meaningful sense of belonging. A single microaggression is easily dismissed as harmless, trivial, or insignificant, particularly when the offending person is well-intentioned and unaware of the potential impact of their comments or actions. But, on the receiving end, each occurrence is an acute reminder of one's otherness. Microaggressions are detrimental to performance and confidence in the workplace. The cumulative effect feels like death by 1,000 cuts. My experience leads me to conclude that my race and gender play a part in how I am treated. Others may draw alternative conclusions from their experiences. I do not have the patience or inclination to spend time persuading anyone that microaggressions are real and damaging. Rather, I can offer some thoughts about how to engage with the specific issue of being mistaken for a non-lawyer, at the outset, except that there is no singular appropriate response. Your reaction will depend on various factors, including the tone of the comments, your relationship to the speaker, whether they hold a position of authority, whether they might impact the outcome of your case, or whether you will have to interact with them on a regular basis, as well as your mood and mental state. Some days you may push back, other days you may prefer to take things in stride. Both are legitimate options. Be wary of using sarcasm and harsh words. It may feel gratifying in the moment, but it can backfire. Consider employing any of the following strategies: answer civilly, then create an uncomfortable silence, respond with an innocent question of your own, "What makes you say that?" "Why, don't I look like a lawyer?" Repeat the offending comment in an incredulous tone. If all else fails, try to channel your frustration into productive energy. This is easier said than done, but almost always worth the effort. Focus on achieving the best possible outcome for your client, naysayers be damned. Remember whose labor supports your existence in this space. It is valid to resent the assumption that you are not qualified for specialized work, but do not demean others in the throes of your righteous anger. There is no shame in being an assistant, interpreter, or janitor. Confront the assumption that lawyers are supposed to look a certain way without disparaging the service workers who work hard in their own right. Reflecting on my contemplation about the thousands of lawyers who have passed through Old City Hall, it occurs to me that I do not look like most of them. That does not make me any less of an advocate. I, too, belong.